Welcome to God Got Me Through It. In our podcast, we invite a new guest every week and let them share their story of how God helped them overcome the most challenging situations.
Hey guys, welcome to our fourth episode, and I am here with Alessio, and he will also explain himself, who he is, and where he comes from.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Alessio. I'm from Italy and I came to the Netherlands 3 years ago. And I'm a life balance coach. In short, I help ambitious people to achieve their goals without sacrificing things like relationships, health, and hobbies.
Nice. And why did you choose for the Netherlands?
Why the Netherlands? I wanted to go abroad, and Netherlands is a very international place, and yeah, I wanted to experience that.
Nice. So feel free to explain your story, because I know you have something to tell us.
Yes.
Very special, and I am very excited to hear about your story. So correct me if I'm wrong. You did some supernatural encounters, and let's start.
Yes, okay. So let's start a long time ago when I was little. So when I was little, I was so attached to my mom that I was literally her shadow.
Wow.
When she took me to kindergarten, I would cry every time because I knew that I had to stay 5 hours far away from her.
Yeah.
Every day a tragedy. Then, elementary school, I stopped crying.
Yeah.
And I even started to go to school by myself. It was a 5-minute walk.
Okay. It's not so far.
Yeah. But one condition.
Okay.
As I was passing in the street, my mom had to show up at the window and say goodbye. So this every day, same thing. I was passing to the street to go to school, said hi to my mom.
Yeah.
One day, usual thing, I was walking, I look at the window, I start waving, and then I awkwardly quickly stop waving because the person who was at the window wasn't my mom.
Okay.
My mom had straight brown hair, and the person I saw had curly blonde hair.
Okay.
And there weren't any windows close by besides ours. So, and also we didn't have any person in our family with curly blonde hair.
Did you know that person?
Well, no. So, very, very confused, I keep walking towards school.
Okay.
Then, in the afternoon, my mom came back from work.
Yeah.
And first thing she said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry I couldn't show up at the window today. I wasn't feeling well, I was at the toilet."
Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, I told her, "Mom, yeah, I know you weren't there because there was someone else with curly blonde hair."
At the exact, so if I understand well, the person that you saw was at the exact place
Yes.
where your mom always stands to say bye to you.
Yes.
Okay, that's strange.
So when I told my mom, she stayed silent for a few seconds, and then, full of joy, she exclaimed, "Oh, that's your guardian angel that showed up instead of me, so you didn't go to school worried."
Okay.
I was like, "Who?" I thought in my head, and then I kind of ignored these episodes, but I've never forgot about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as you grow up, did you saw that lady several times, or was it just like for once?
That was the only one.
Okay. And you wasn't scared?
No, I was confused. I think I didn't even understand what was going on. Like, guardian angel, what? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I ignored it.
Yeah.
but it was has always been back of my head, like, okay, there's some supernatural being apparently that
Yeah.
showed up in our house.
In your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, we can say like bizarre to see it, and you grew up as a Christian. Did you experience more like kind of this, like visitations or something?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not good visits.
Okay.
And I will explain.
Yeah, can you explain more about this?
Yes. So before that, as I got a bit older, so beginning teenage years,
Yeah.
I started to become more aware of myself and my insecurities.
Okay.
I was the shy, insecure kid that would always hide, would never fit in anywhere. And as I grew up during my teenage years, nothing much changed besides the fact that I became lazier and lazier.
Okay.
I got addicted to video games, pornography,
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And I had 2 romantic relationships that made me even more insecure.
Oh, okay. And what made you insecure exactly?
I cannot tell, but that was the way I was
Yeah.
as a child. And then certain events reinforced my insecurities.
Okay. And what are the events that made you more insecure?
For example, my relationships
Yeah.
or things that happened with other people that confirmed my insecurity, and I always wanted to hide. For example, at school,
Yeah.
I would get average grades, so I would always stay in the middle, so no one will notice me.
Okay.
So my mission was to hide.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So to hide yourself. And what was the point that you couldn't hide anymore? Because are you always been that in that phase, or was there always a point that you say, no, I cannot hide anymore?
Yeah, there has been a point, and we will get there very soon.
Okay, so explain more about the visitations, because
Yes.
you had several times that you saw a lady or something else.
Yeah, so during my teenage years, up until 16,
Yeah.
I would experience sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically what happens is that you're sleeping, then you wake up, but you're completely paralyzed.
Okay.
So you feel pain, you cannot move, and some people can even open their eyes and see a demon on top of them.
Okay.
Or hear screams, and you cannot move. And it's also
Okay.
painful.
Yeah.
What I
then-
had, luckily, was just I would wake up completely paralyzed. I couldn't open my eyes, so I would just see darkness and this anxiety and pain from the paralysis. I don't remember when it started, but I remember for sure that it ended when I was 16. Now, one evening, it was summer, I was 15, I went to sleep,
Yeah.
and I had a dream. I dreamed of waking up,
Yeah.
and I was 99% paralyzed. So I could feel that pain, and I could barely move. So what I tried to do was to fall off the bed and then try to crawl to my parents' bedroom,
Yeah.
and I tried to scream to call help, but no sound came out of my mouth.
Wow. Okay.
There was this very negative aura, this demonic aura around my room, and this big anxiety. And then at some point I wake up.
Okay.
My heart was pounding.
Yeah.
I was so sweaty
Yeah.
and scared.
Exactly.
So I try to calm myself down and to fall asleep again.
Okay.
Took me a while, and I fall asleep.
Okay.
I had another dream.
Oh, another dream.
Yes. the exact same one. Woke up 99% paralyzed. I fall off the bed. I tried to crawl to my parents' bedroom. I tried to scream,
Yeah.
no sound. And I wake up, even more sweaty, even more scared.
Yeah.
So now at this point, I was afraid to fall asleep again. Took me time to calm myself down again, and I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And it happened again,
Okay.
and again, and again. I spent the entire night reliving that nightmare. Then after that episode, I've had a few other ones, milder ones, and then at 16, I stopped. So 2 years later,
Yeah.
I was having dinner with my family,
Yeah.
and my dad, who's a Christian, who's a strong believer, he was talking about faith. Sometimes he would do that at a dinner. And at some point, we ended up talking about demons.
Okay.
He was saying the devil is real, also demons, there's evil in this world. And my brother and I didn't believe him. We're kind of making fun of him. But then he got serious,
Yeah.
and he said, our house used to be possessed by demons.
Okay.
I looked at my brother and I was like, well, what do you mean? I asked. He said, your mother and I used to have weird episodes of things moving, objects disappearing, and we would frequently dream of demons.
Okay.
At that point, my brother confessed too that he used to dream of demons.
Okay.
He used to see them, hear screamings. So I couldn't help but remember about my sleep paralysis episodes.
Okay.
But I was still skeptical. So my dad continued. And at some point, we decided to call an exorcist.
Okay.
And a priest came to our house, blessed it, and since that moment, we stopped having those episodes.
Okay.
I asked my dad, when did the priest come? 2 years ago, he said. It was exactly when I stopped having the sleep paralysis episodes.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
Yeah. So you never explained your parents that you had that kind of dreams?
Yeah, never. Only that day.
Wow.
So when I told my dad, I was like, well, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
I think because he knew that we were skeptical, and
Okay.
I think you cannot just talk about the argument, talking about the topic randomly,
Yeah.
because of course you don't believe it. And also I think he didn't want us to be scared,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he didn't know that we were experiencing things. Yeah.
After all those experiences, what was like your level in faith? Did you believe in God, or how was it?
Yeah, so that evening I couldn't help but admit that higher power existed, and unfortunately evil as well.
Yeah.
So that moment I realized, okay, there's something, but
Okay.
I wasn't believing yet. I knew there was something, but I wasn't doing anything about it. So I was very insecure,
Yeah.
very shy, but there was one thing that always existed in me, and that was the desire to improve. I even remember I was 11, 12.
Yeah.
I remember searching on YouTube how to be less shy.
Okay.
So I wanted to improve,
Yeah.
but until I was 18, nothing much changed. My life has been quite dull, besides those weird demonic events. When I was 18, my world tilted for me completely. We found out that my mom had cancer.
Okay. Yeah.
I was shocked when I found out. Everything changed for me that day. I realized how much time I was wasting. And up until that moment, I always took people, health, and time for granted. I thought, yeah, people die, but, people close to me are immortal. They will never die. I will never die. But that was a real reality check for me. And I couldn't help but think at the time I've wasted during those years.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to waste any second anymore. So my values shifted completely.
Okay.
My priorities were health and time. And that led me to a period of self-reflection, self-development,
Yeah.
and I started to lean into faith.
Amen. Wow. That's very beautiful that after all you experienced it, like all these situations, it leads you to looking after God. And in the period that your mom was sick, how did faith help you to go through it?
So it helped me to always see the positive side of whatever was happening. In fact, other things happened.
Okay.
Since my mom's illness wasn't enough, the year after, in 2022,
Yeah.
we lost our grandma.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And 2023, another year later, we lost our grandfather as well. During those years, I took my life even more seriously. I started improving myself. I started exercising consistently,
Yeah.
journaling, meditating, improving my social skills, and looking for my purpose in life. In the meantime, I went abroad,
Yeah.
here in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
to attend university. Now, after 1 year, I realized that university wasn't fulfilling me at all. I had very good grades, but I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. And I couldn't see an exciting future for me. And time was really important for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do. So one day I decided, okay, from today, I'm gonna wake up 1 hour earlier every day, and I'm gonna spend that hour thinking, reflecting, researching what I really, really want to do with my life.
Okay.
I started with one question. Okay, what is it that I cannot not do? What is it that I can't help but do? That was so easy for me, helping people.
Yeah.
And after 2 months, so 60 hours of reflection and research, I found out that thing was coaching.
Okay. And you did that every day. So every day you stood up like 1 hour and
Yeah.
you was just thinking.
Yes. When I found out, okay, coaching is really the way I want to help people, I'm very careful. So I thought, let's slow down. I was getting excited. Oh my God, coaching is so interesting.
Yeah.
Let's slow down. How can I make sure that this is the thing for me? I thought I can pay for a life coach. I was going through things. I love improving myself.
Yeah.
Let me pay for a life coach. Let's see if this person can actually help me. Let me be the client.
Okay.
I had an amazing experience. After that, I was, okay, this is the thing. It took me still 2 months, but then I decided I quit university.
Oh.
And from that moment on, I'm spending 100% of my time, energy, and effort on coaching.
And how did you, because you stopped university, did you went to school or did you just start like coaching people?
Yeah, no, so from exactly the day I decided to quit, I instantly started a training program. I got certified as a coach. I studied positive psychology, earned other certifications, worked with a mentor, and then I started my business here in the Netherlands. I started getting clients, and it's been so fulfilling.
Wow, that's great to hear that. Was there a moment that things didn't go well with your business, or was it always like good, like you have always clients or something?
From the outside, there's nothing that ever went wrong in my business. But from the inside, I realized how insecurities that were hidden, because I improved myself and I thought, okay, now my insecurities are gone. Now that I'm working on something I really care about and I'm being exposed, I saw my insecurity re-emerging.
Okay.
So I had periods where I wasn't doing amazingly, but on an external level, nothing bad was happening.
Okay, so if I understand well, the battle was more intern.
Yes.
And
yes.
how did you handle that? Because you are helping people with their problems, but you as coach as well had some issues.
So one thing, I always have my own coach coaching me.
Okay.
So that helps.
Okay, that's good.
But also there are other things that happened that made me even more clear on what really, really matters to me.
Okay.
And that gave me the strength to fight.
And what are the things that helped you to make it clear for you?
Another reality check. April 2024 came. My mom's illness got worse.
Yeah.
Her intestine became blocked. The cancer reached the intestine.
Okay.
And basically she couldn't eat anymore. And she was already skinny because of all the treatments that she was going through. And she was below 50. After a week without eating, she was below 40. And the doctor said that surgery was not possible. She was too weak.
Yeah.
In other words, there was no hope. My mom was ready to die. She would have reached her death. But she even decided what to wear at her funeral.
Wow.
She liked to make everything perfect.
Okay.
But she didn't want to die. She
Yeah.
didn't want to leave us. And also, everything happened so quickly that my brother and I were not home, and we couldn't come back in time to say goodbye to her in person.
Oh, if I understand well, you was in the Netherlands.
I was in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah, and my brother was studying another city in Italy.
Yeah.
So it happened so quickly that we couldn't come back in time because we weren't aware of what was really happening. So it wasn't the right time. Imagine from a day to another you lose your mom.
Yeah.
During her last days, my dad tried one last resource. He has a role in the church, and he's the spiritual son of one of the most influential religious figures in the region and beyond,
Yeah.
Padre Guglielmo.
Okay.
So this guy, he's now 96, and he used to be very close to Padre Pio, who's now saint.
Yeah.
They used to, back in the 60s, to serve Mass together. And the moment when Padre Pio died, he, together with only one other brother, were there.
Yeah.
So that's how close he was to this man. So my dad went to him and explained how bad the situation and that there wasn't much left.
Yeah.
He listened attentively, stayed silent, and then he took out of his pocket his own personal rosary and gave it to my dad. As my dad got home, my mom immediately took the rosary, put it around her neck, and started praying. The night passed. The day after, her intestine was cleared,
Wow.
so she could eat again, and she began to recover.
Okay.
was a miracle. Even the doctor said, if your intestine gets blocked because of the cancer, it only gets worse because you cannot have the treatment anymore.
Exactly.
So you're done. But the opposite just occurred.
I can understand that the doctors, they can not understand what's happened, but it's a miracle from God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the faith of your mom, it helped her to overcome the battle, what was cancer. And how is she now?
So the story doesn't end here.
Yeah.
So after a month, she was recovering.
Yeah.
She didn't gain any weight, but she could walk again. She continued the treatment. Now, something else happened. Not to my mom this time.
Okay.
One morning, I was here in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I received a text message from her. Call me immediately. I felt a knot in my stomach. What does that mean? So I called her and she told me, your dad is at the hospital. He had a brain aneurysm. He's alive, but we don't know what's gonna happen. And I cannot do this by myself. So I need you and your brother. Please come back. I was shocked. I hadn't said a word until she tells me, but please stay calm, because if you're calm, I am too.
Okay.
I was holding back my tears and I say, Mom, don't worry, I'm coming back. But then I had to close, I had to end the call, and I broke down.
So, that's very hard. And did you go back to Italy?
Yes, a day after I went back to Italy, and she told me the full story of what happened. I couldn't believe about what I was hearing. My dad was at work, he's a goldsmith. And it was a usual day, maybe a bit more stressful. At a certain point, he started feeling an unbearable headache, and he knew something was wrong. So he called my mom saying, hey, I don't know what's happening, I don't feel good, please come. And then he said, never mind, I'm calling the ambulance.
Wow.
Now, my mom started panicking. She rushed down 2 floors of stairs, she could barely walk.
Wow.
And she was getting into the car and she realized that she forgot the keys to open the jewelry store. Because for safety reasons, you cannot just open the door. Either you ring and my dad opens it, or you need a key. So now, even more panicked, she called my dad back. Luckily, he picked up the phone, explained the situation, and he said, I will open for you, just come. So she gets into the car and started driving. She arrived, and the ambulance was already there. But there was something strange. The paramedics were outside. My dad wasn't opening the door. The stroke already happened.
Wow.
At a point, my mom started screaming and crying out of desperation. Imagine your husband is on the other side of the door and is dying, and there's nothing you can do about it. You feel helpless. 5 minutes passed. And nothing changed. Then, a sudden sound. It was the door. My dad opened the door. He was full of blood. The back of his head was completely open. Just the time to open the door that he passed out again.
Wow.
Later, we saw the security cameras. What happened? He had the stroke, hit his head on a sharp surface, and fell to the floor. Then after 6 minutes, he regained consciousness.
Wow.
He got up, even took the toilet paper to clean the floor, and then opened the door just before collapsing again.
Wow.
But this time, they took him to the ambulance and went to the hospital. Now, when you have a stroke, most of the times you die on the spot. Or in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. If you're very lucky, you have very severe consequences forever. My dad didn't have any of these.
Anything?
No. It was a very tough period, but after a month, he was basically fine.
Wow.
He came back to normal. He can do everything.
Wow.
So at that point, I went back to the Netherlands because I had some unfinished business. I left immediately when I knew about it.
Which is normal.
Yeah. And the plan was to stay for 2 weeks and then come back again for vacation this time.
Yeah.
Because we deserved it.
Yeah.
Now, 2 days before I came back, my dad was doing better, my mom too. She even went to the beach to take a walk on the shore. She loved to do that, and she could finally do that again.
Yeah.
Then, the day after, the day before I came back, the intestine became blocked again.
Oh.
We had 2 miracles, but we didn't get a third one. So she left in August.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But this time, family was there.
Yeah.
She died at home, surrounded by us. This time was right.
Okay. So I'm very touched by your story. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit emotional, but wow, you've been through a lot of situations. And how is it now? Because your mom is not here anymore. How did you manage life?
Yeah. So I thought a lot about everything that happened. And I realized how everything happened at a perfect time.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, the story, the guardian angel story and the demon story were seeds that God planted for me. You know why? Do you know when the dinner with my dad, where he talked about demons, happened?
Yeah.
It happened when my mom was at the hospital after the surgery for her cancer. It happened when I needed to believe to God the most. And he gave me proof that evening. And also, you might think, okay, yeah, very nice, 2 miracles, but your mom is not here.
Yeah.
But think about this. First, my mom had one last purpose. She couldn't die in April. Because in May, my dad had a stroke. My mom had to take care of him. The same way my dad had taken care of her for 3 years. The intestine got blocked again, exactly the moment my dad was finally out of danger and he could come back to work again.
Wow.
So she had fulfilled her final purpose.
Wow.
Now think also about this. 2 miracles. Imagine only one hadn't happened. So imagine my mom would have passed away in April. My dad would have had a stroke in May. And do you think he would have woken up after all the grief and suffering that he would have experienced? The only reason why he got up that day was because he had to take care of my mom. He couldn't die.
Wow.
Other scenario, my mom would have survived in April, but not my dad. My mom would have died anyways, and probably much earlier, full of grief and suffering. So this didn't happen.
Yeah.
I would have been an orphan and I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. It's very special that you understand. It's for me. It's very difficult to understand the way you are understanding all the situation. But sometimes God, He knows why He's doing certain things in life.
Yeah.
And I think that you had understand that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is that you can only understand it either later or not in this life. All you can do is accept whatever is happening.
Yeah. And how did you accept it for yourself?
Yeah. So looking back at everything that happened, I realized that the person I am now is thanks to all that happened. So I should even thank for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have started improving myself. I wouldn't have found my purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would be right now.
Yeah.
All I know is, despite all the suffering, I'm now living a very happy and fulfilled life. I'm the healthiest I've ever been, and I'm doing what I absolutely love. That's all I know.
So through all those situations, you found for yourself your purpose and what God has planned for you,
Yes.
and that's very beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to say something to a person that is listening to you, maybe have the same situation like you, or at the moment the person is suffering?
Yes.
What do you want to tell?
I know there are people that are watching that right now are suffering. They feel lonely. They're struggling with addiction. They lost someone, or they feel purposeless. And also, I know there are some people that really, really want to believe in God, but they just can't. You know, people say everything happens for the best. I don't believe that. Everything doesn't happen for the best. And also, it's certainly not God making bad things happen. But it's God that can help you to make the best out of everything that happens. So here's what you need to do. You need to ask God for His help and put faith in Him.
Amen.
It doesn't matter if you don't believe. Can you ask for help? Can you say, God, can you help me? Yes, then you can do it. It doesn't matter if you don't believe. But that's not the only thing that you have to do. If you're spending all your days on the couch watching Netflix, God will certainly not help you. But you first need to take ownership of your life and start taking action. Then God will follow along and create little miracles along your path. But there's one thing though about God's timing, that it's perfect. And that means that you might not get what you want when you want it. It might happen today, tomorrow, in a week, month, or in years. All you can do is to have faith, keep searching, and keep asking. Faith doesn't mean to have certainty of something. Faith means to believe, to trust, despite the uncertainty. How do you do that practically? By keeping asking and keeping searching. That's the practical way to show faith.
Wow. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. May God bless you abundantly. Thank you for sharing your
Thank you.
beautiful story. And may God lead you in His plans and in everything that you are doing. May God bless you abundantly.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So thank you for listening to this story. Do you want to share a story? Do you want to inspire people through your faith? Please contact us by our Instagram account. You can follow us and we will make sure that you will be there also in this platform. God bless you and see you next time.